Unfortunately, we can.
What's up,
Oh
guys?
yeah,
Welcome into another Gold Boys show. Listen, it's a beautiful day because we get to bet on sports. We have literally playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. We have the NBA playoffs. We have soccer playoffs, if you guys want to call Champions League the playoffs. Uh,
I'm feeling I've been feeling sick, and then tax things, and then having Rich Hill throw 19 strikeouts at Coors Field. It was a rough day yesterday betting wise, but there's a lot of sports to look at today, which is very interesting. And I think more than anything, there's three playoff games for the NBA, which is really fun. I think it's fun when you have multiple games that kind of are spread out a little bit more. I don't know if you saw the scheduling they do on Thursday, where they're going to have the Suns at the same time as the Kings game. Like they're like a fat 30 minutes
so
apart.
dumb.
It's so dumb. It's only dumb because on was it was Monday? No, it was
Yeah,
Sunday. It was
Sunday.
Sunday where they start at 3 and they didn't have any overlap because they couldn't have any overlap and they had the game like 11. And then now on Thursday, overlapping's totally fine. I don't understand. Like I don't understand how the scheduling is fine to have no overlap on Sunday, but then on Thursday when they're the two best games and they're the only two games on, I don't know why you have them overlap like that.
I think I'm
Yeah.
good. I think okay. I think we're good. Sorry guys.
Welcome back,
Yeah,
baby.
I'm yeah. You guys can hear me the whole time. The stream just
Yeah, I
broke,
could
I
hear
guess.
you.
So yeah, I'm filling in for the one and only Will Hill, which is a tall task anyway. Then my mic doesn't work, so I think he's like off having a baby or something important. So congrats to him. But
Yeah.
here we are. Yeah, we got some MLB. We got some NBA. Brad, you got some soccer or something? You
Yes,
started
yeah, I
saying
have some
letters, and I was
soccer.
like, wait, I think that's soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
man. I couldn't believe like I was like normally sometimes they release the lineup so early and then they release them and I'm like looking and I was like, oh crap, I gotta stop looking at these UCL lines, but I'm pretty confident in what I'm betting today for soccer.
What's that?
All right, yeah. So the first one that I posted this in goldboys.com for anybody who's not a member. Go ahead and join. It's Real Madrid to beat Chelsea. I did half a unit on that, and Real Madrid to draw no bet, which means if they tie, then you get your money back. If they win, they win. It's just Chelsea lineup. First of all, it's not a good Chelsea team, averaging less than 1 goal per game. I think it's something like 0.91 goals per contest against a Real Madrid side who literally live for Champions League. Ancelotti is a great manager. But then I wasn't going to play this because I thought Madrid didn't care if this ended 1-0 and they lost because they're going to advance to the next round. And then I saw this terrible, terrible lineup by Frank Lampard. Like literally, he has 2 forwards in the match. He has zero attacking midfielders, zero creativity. It just feels like he wants to have his team not get embarrassed out on the pitch, which we all know in professional sports, if you play not to get embarrassed, you're more likely to get embarrassed than anything else. So I took that. And then I have Napoli corners over 6.5. The line's been destroyed since I put it in Gold Boys. In Gold Boys, it was minus 102 last night. It's creeping towards the minus 140 range now, but they've hit this in 3 straight. They've literally played 3 times in the past month. They're down 1-0 on aggregate at home. And then they have one of their main characters back in the center forward, Victor Osimhen, one of the Nigerian superstars.
Yeah, I know everything you said, and that all made perfect sense.
yeah.
That's actually been right on. Well, cool. Soccer. There is a MLB. Brian,
Yeah,
are
I don't
you
know
Yep.
if you
alive
I
out
don't know.
there?
I don't know if you've seen, but there is like 6 people in the stands. Look up on Twitter. There it is a Detroit game and it's a makeup game, and I think there's like 7 people in attendance. It's kind of interesting to look. Yeah, it's a bad look, but
It's cold up
yeah,
north.
yeah, I haven't really been paying attention too much in that game, but I'm actually surprised. Gaddis for the Guardians. I thought maybe his strikeout line was a little high, but I'm surprised he only struck out one Tiger so far. The Tigers swing as I imagine I would swing in an MLB game. It's not very pretty, so I don't really have anything for that game. Actually, all the live props are locked. I just checked, so yeah.
Could get Anything obviously.
Yeah, the Phillies should have two losses today at some point. But the one thing I was looking at, because I might not have too much today after watching Rich Hill strike out 11. But it seemed like yesterday in Coors Field, it pissed me off. But yeah, I the one thing I know our friend Nick Larson's already on it, but Nathan Eovaldi over 5.5 strikeouts. It feels like it's too good to be true. I actually have him projected at 7.1, but the the line is plus 120. So the price to me is for a guy that I have at the top of my list for strikeout projections. Plus 120 is a crazy odds for a guy that's getting. The only thing I guess you could worry about is the fact he just played this Royals team, and maybe second time around, I usually lean the batters in the lineup to face a guy second time in a week. But this is just a case where this lineup's hitting so terribly, and Nathan Eovaldi has looked so good this year that I would back him at 6+.
Um, that said, they can't hear.
Oh man, I can still hear you.
This
I
is
have
so
a
funny. So have
maybe
you
that's
been?
better.
Have you been? Oh, that's even funnier.
So I think I had a noise gate that was like I don't know.
dude. I have a pretty funny bet. I don't handicap baseball that much, like ever. But I obviously play all these fantasy sports and do like DFS and stuff. And I played I played Dre Jameson 6+ strikeouts.
I like that. He's projected very high on my list. I want to post.
Dude, it was like this morning it was plus 700.
Yeah.
He had 4 Ks in his last start. But he had the what is it called? The training wheels. He's still the training wheels off, but now
Yeah.
their manager said he's going to be in the rotation. I think that he lets him go. Like lets him go as deep as he wants. If he gets to 5 innings, he has a very good chance of hitting 6 strikeouts. St. Louis doesn't swing that often, but like, come on, like I just think this guy has a chance to put up one of those like 9 strikeout stat lines against the Cardinals.
No, I like that.
Is that better? No, keep going.
Yeah, so that's my play. I played it up to for 9 strikeouts was 22-1. Like it's obviously it's not something where I'm going and throwing a full unit on, but like I put a quarter of unit at plus 700, and then I put like a fifth of a unit. I think that's right to win one. I did to win 2 units, so that's easier to say. I did to win 2 units on 9+ strikeouts. I just thought like it's a good look. Guys always get this kind of extra nod when they know their spot is kind of safe. Like, and also one stat that's pretty cool was like last year he pitched like 23 in the 3rd innings. He had 24 strikeouts, which I think if he can get the run, get the rope, then it's pretty solid.
Check. Is that better? I don't know. If my mic is just not working, I guess. Kind of.
Let me see.
I don't
I have
have
the
a
stream
chat
up.
open.
Let me see if I can hear you. I can hear you now on my phone. I am watching on my phone. So maybe Eli is finally back with us.
Welcome back, Eli. You were missed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I see it lighting up. It's just not very loud. So, yeah, keep going. You guys are doing great.
All right. Any other baseball that you want to talk about?
No, but I will say I probably will fire on Nate Eovaldi. It's plus 130 now, and I just checked the lineup. It's official lineup, and they do have they have Reyes in there, who is swinging a garden hose most times. So I do like it a lot more now. But yeah, I think both that those looks are good. They're like probably the 2 I like the most today. Obviously not. I didn't take 7+, but his actual line is 3.5, and
Yeah,
he said 4 last game. I think it's a good look for him if he's able to go 5-6 innings, which he should be able to.
Check.
Yeah,
This Cardinals offense, like you said, like they're so confusing because sometimes it feels like they can put up 14 runs, and then sometimes they get shut down by Vince Velasquez, and they get like 1 hit for the entire game.
It is super.
So they're very beatable.
I think. I don't know. It's starting to light up. It's getting better.
I think it's interesting to note too that Cardinals lost Montgomery's last start out. They looked lost. I just feel like sometimes you have those pitchers who like they don't pitch terrible, but they end up getting no run support and their team just kind of sucks. So I'm kind of hoping for that a little bit.
That was the story of his life. Wait, talking about Montgomery?
Yeah.
It's the story of his life on the Yankees too. I'm gonna
Yeah.
a little bit here, and then I think we're gonna be good to go. I just gotta talk directly into this microphone for some reason.
Yeah,
So
speaking of that though, this is the it's like the 10-year anniversary, or I forget how many years ago it was, but it's like the anniversary of the time that Cliff Lee pitched 10 scoreless innings with the Phillies in a 1-0 loss. The Phillies lost in the 11th inning. So it's talk about getting no run support.
Oh, there we go.
Imagine going 10 innings without allowing a run and your team loses.
Speaking of the Yankees, couple spots that I like are in that the Angels Yankees game tonight. Hopefully people can hear me. I don't know. It's not lighting up very loud. Super weird. I'm sorry guys. But I like Shohei Ohtani tonight. He started out kind of slow, but he's got a guy that just cannot pitch to lefties, and Clark Schmidt. And I just don't see. I don't see. He just doesn't have a pitch to get lefties out or really fool them at all. So I like Ohtani total bases. 2 was plus 120 on MGM. I got that line using the Pickett Sports app. Download that and use code GoldBoys. I also like him for a home run at plus 450 on Barstool.
I think that's a good look. I mean, and then he didn't have to pitch yesterday, so he's not too tired. You know, he got out of his pitching role early yesterday, so Ohtani can maybe have some energy conserved.
Yeah. Sorry. Keep going. Any other MLB stuff? Go ahead.
No, that's really all I had for that's really all I had for MLB. I didn't really give it like it's a big slate, but I didn't really give it too much of a long wood.
NBA? Can we move to NBA? I'm just gonna move.
Yeah, let's talk about NBA.
And I'll get out of the way here because I don't think they can really hear me that well for some reason.
All good. Yeah, we can carry the ship. We doing today and tomorrow, or just today? Let's do just today because aren't we doing a show again tomorrow?
Yeah, we have 3 games today, and one of them doesn't really count. I mean, I want to give the Hawks credit, but man, they fought at the end there. But that game was pretty tough. I do have the only series bet I laid in this whole series first round is I took the Celtics minus 2.5. I paid the minus 160 for it. I mean, I don't see a scenario where the Hawks stack up. They don't have the 3-point shooting to like steal a bunch of games. Like some teams like in these bigger underdog matchups, they're good enough from the arc where you can just get the 3-point variance where they can just get hot.
Yeah.
But the Hawks, like, I think people think that Trae Young is like that dude and like they have this elite 3-point shooting. They are not like a 3-point shooting team.
No.
They are like one of the worst out there, and the Celtics are so good at switching that they take away that PNR, and when that PNR is gone, I mean they are relying on jump shooting that is just not there from long range.
Yeah, and people like listen when I play Trae Young props, I don't ever think it's because he's going to be efficient. I think it's because he's just going to shoot and shoot and shoot. The only serious bet I took 2. I took the Grizzlies, which is not looking good anymore. I know it's just one game. I'm overreacting, but I did take Sacramento. I thought exactly what was going to happen. The Warriors were going to lose 2 games.
We talked about that too
on the road. Yeah, we talked about it. I even gave it out on our show at plus 235.
Yeah, I think it's also one of those things where people are surprised that it's 2-0 when the Kings are literally like a decent basketball team and the Warriors are the worst team on the road. And the Warriors lose 2 road games. Now everyone's surprised that they're losing on the road when they literally couldn't beat teams like the Spurs on the road. So I don't know why it's such a big surprise. I mean, obviously some of the games have been looked up and down, but the Kings do what they need to do. We talked about it. They just got to win their home games and they win the series. And that's, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy, but against the Warriors, I mean, that's all you got to do.
A lot easier than it sounds.
Yeah.
Against the Warriors. I had someone ask me this question. So let me ask you this. And then we can get into today's games. Let's say this game goes to 7. Are you confident in the Kings, or do you think the Warriors will win it out? I mean, they've been there, done that. They have the experience advantage, but
still gotta be on the road.
Still gotta be on the road.
So crazy to think about. My rebuttal to that is Game 7. What's the spread? I think the Kings are 2.5. I think the Kings get favored.
I think the Kings are dogs. I think they're. If it goes to Game 7, I think the Kings are 2.5-point dog.
I think it's.
I had it 3 is what I said.
I think it's interesting only because it would definitely be within a possession either way. But I just feel like if they do say go 3-0 at home, I think it might
Yeah.
flip in that game 7 because they were dogs game 1 and they came out and won. And yeah, like the game yesterday, they looked a lot better. So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. I wonder. I saw someone post about the Kings are able to make the Klay Thompson 4 the most like hilarious meme of all time if they can make the sweep, which I don't think they will, but yeah, I think the Kings would be able to close out at home though. I think like the beam, that the Kings are playing really good at home, and you can rally behind your fans, and that arena is going nuts as they should. I mean, 2006. I mean, this is these people are waiting a long time. So I do think, as good as the Warriors have been in the past and had the pedigree, if it goes to Game 7, I think the Kings can rally behind that crowd. They're a good basketball team too. I don't think people realize that. Everyone wants to play them like, oh, should the Clippers lose out to get this seed to play the Kings? I think people are discrediting the fact the Kings are a good basketball team. Like I know it's like almost hard to like a pill to swallow, but they're a good basketball team, and I think they could win in 6 if they're able to take one of these games in Golden State.
Okay, good. So I'm glad that I got your opinion on that. I really needed to know. Do you have any plays for Atlanta and Boston?
I don't, but I had one. I want the one play I'm circling today very highly, and I want to play it is Clint Capella under 10.5 rebounds in 3 games against the Celtics. He has not hit this.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. He's also under this in 60% of games where he doesn't see 30 minutes. So there's twofold here. The pace will slow down. He's got to match up against guys like Horford and Williams like he did last game. And if we saw a game like we saw last time, do the Hawks try to go small to change things up? And B, is it going to be a situation where maybe these guys aren't playing the full minutes because the Celtics might just start off hot again and go up, what was it, 30? I think it was 28 they went up. Yeah, it was bad. So the Celtics are just such a good shooting team, and if you're making your shot, it's tough to get rebounds. So I think 10.5 is a little high for Clint Capella, who has not hit 10 yet in the 3 matchups against the Celtics.
Sounds fun. I didn't take anything from this game. I'm gonna watch this game and look for something live. Hopefully, the problem is I'd want Boston to be down like 15.
Yeah. That's what I did yesterday. I was at the Sixers game, and I kept hammering the live spread. I took a -5.5, 4.5, 3.5, and 1.5. Alcohol was a little bit into that decision making, but I just kept sitting there watching with my brother, and I was like, "There's no way they keep playing like this." And eventually, it evened out, and they came back and they closed the door there, and they won by 12. But I think that's the same thing where, yeah, that's a good play, but you're banking on the Hawks to find a way to rally against the Celtics team, and that's just a tall order. This Celtics team is so good.
So good. I was looking for live angles in that game, and I couldn't find one, so I just kind of sat back. All right, let's talk about the Knicks and the Cavs. First, let me get your reactions, your thoughts on what happened in the last game. Impressive win for the Knicks there.
Yeah, and we were talking about it where I know we were kind of eating, like having egg on our face, because I know Will was big on like the Knicks a lot, and we were kind of more on the Cavs. So I was a little surprised. I do think you lean the +5.5 or the +6 for the Knicks, but I do like the Cavs in this game. I mean, you don't want to bet on motivation because everyone could do that. Like, oh, this team has to win. But, man, this is the Cavs getting their chance to even up the series before going to the Garden. And that's just – you don't want to go to the Garden down 0-2. And this is a team that is good enough and they have the playmakers to step up. So I do lean the Cavs. I just don't know if I trust them for 6. That's 2 whole possessions. I was talking to some friends, Half Birdman on Twitter and Joe Delero. That's what we were kind of saying. We were talking about maybe doing like a +6 Cavs money line parlay, just because it feels like a game where the Knicks should cover, but down the stretch, I just think that the Cavs will find a way to pull it out.
That sounds interesting. I am kind of upset that I didn't get my 40 burger that we talked about last time, that we talked about in our text. I was my story time. My fiance was getting ready for Taylor Swift, so we were out of town, and I just wanted to make the night good for her since I wasn't going, but also I wanted to make sure I was in the right state of mind. So I threw on that Taylor Swift and I started handicapping that game, and I'm all over the place because I'm trying to entertain her and still trying to handicap at the same time. So I'm texting you, and I'm like, Evan Mobley should eat. Like his 14-point line should hit. But then I just felt like Donovan Mitchell would ball. Donovan Mitchell had 24 points. For those who don't know, I took 40 burger from Donovan Mitchell. I texted these guys about it. And Donovan Mitchell had 24 points in the first half, and then went through this weird lull period of
third quarter. He did nothing.
Yeah, where he just didn't do anything, and then ended up missing a couple shots to hit it. But I just think that Will's explanation of what happens to the Cavs is why they lost that game. Their lack of spot up shooting really kills them because it's go through Mitchell or go through Garland, and that's it. Not move the ball around and kick it out. And the Knicks were able to exploit that. I have a play in this game that I like though.
What's your play in this game?
My play is Jared Allen, 11 plus rebounds, plus 105. He's hit this in every game they played. A lot of that has to do with him on Mitchell Robinson, not an offensive threat, not going out to the wings. He has an ability to kind of just stay there and clean up. And then I also am not high on Mitchell Robinson as a basketball player overall. I think that gives Allen a couple opportunities to get some of those freebie offensive rebounds there. So that's my favorite play in this game. You can play double-double if you want, but like if this game turned into a game where Allen's not doing anything, I don't want to be the guy who's sitting on an Allen ticket, double-double, and he has 14 rebounds.
Yeah.
I literally paid a premium for double-double when double-double is minus money.
Especially because they had two guys that can run the pick and roll so well. So if they want to input the PNR a little bit. But yeah, I agree with you. What you said is the Cavs offense has great offensive talent, but they don't have, like you said, they don't have a driving kick offense. Like they don't have a guy that can make those open shots. They like Garland and Spider are so good off the dribble, but neither one of them really excels in those catch and shoot scenarios. And you bring in Okoro, and that's better, but not great. And then you have two centers that play in your starting five. It's a very delicate offense where they got to figure out a way to work their rotations to combat that, because the Knicks just took away the driving lanes, and that's all you have to do, because you're not really worried much about the outside shooting if you have anyone spotting up. So I do think it'd be interesting to watch how the Cavs kind of answer that, because the Knicks did that really well defensively.
What's funny? You said Okoro, and the funniest announcer thing that happened was they kick it out to Okoro. Okoro shoots, and they're like, "Oh, well, they're not all that worried about Okoro because he's not a great three-point shooter," and he bricks it. Like it was such a brick. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a problem for the Cavs though. That's what the thing is. I think the Cavs could figure it out this series, but it's a little worrisome down the road where you wonder how well they can run their offense against like better defensive teams. Because the East has right now, they have the Knicks, a great defensive team. Sixers are a good defensive team. Same with the Bucks. Same with the Celtics. So I just I know some people have tickets for the Cavs, and I'm all for it. Like go Cavs, whatever. But I just don't know how they can stack up against these good defenses, because they're in the East where everyone plays defense really well. Sometimes in the West, you see some teams, weirdly enough, I don't know why it's split up like that, but the East has some really good defensive teams, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to accomplish after the series if they make it out. But they don't have much spacing. They don't have any spot up shooting.
None.
It's really weird. I mean, they're like the one team in the league that I don't think you can ever be too worried that they're just going to like run through you and drop like 130 points. They're going to rely on their defensive prowess, and in today's NBA, it's not necessarily a winning formula once you start playing teams that can do a little bit of both.
Okay, let's move over to the next game, because I want to talk about Clippers Suns. Were you a buyer or a seller on the Clippers beating the Suns before that game started?
I was like indifferent. I really didn't have like a great idea of the series, but I did lean the Suns. Like I didn't think the price reflected how close the matchup could have been, but I was actually surprised to see how good the Clippers were without Paul George, because we talked about We talked
Like-
about how important Paul George was, which is funny that it was Russell Westbrook was the guy that filled in defensively, which I'm not even trying to talk about biases before or after of Russell Westbrook, but we talked about how without Paul George, their defense would suffer. I was shocked about the leap that Westbrook made in that fourth quarter to play that kind of defense, because that's what they need without Paul George. It might have been like the most impressive 3 for 19 shooting night of all time. I was crazy to watch.
What was great about the Russell Westbrook defensive game was how he played the defense. Like, it was just like the reason that makes him a bad defender. Like, it was frantic, unpredictable,
but
all over the place.
But then it worked.
It worked to perfection.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not at least debate taking Russell Westbrook under 16.5 points at plus money?
Yeah.
Because do you really think he takes 19 shots again? I don't know if you can.
Someone asked me, so we have this new show coming out called Would You Rather on NBC. And I was posed, would I rather take Chris Paul's over PRA or Russell Westbrook's over PRA? And when I heard the number on Westbrook, it was like, man, 30, 34, 32. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't think he scores enough.
16.
But,
so it's interesting because he's getting like almost Paul George PRA lines. Like,
yeah.
And he's not. I'm sorry, he's not Paul George. I mean, we talked about earlier how people like to hate on Paul George, but Paul George is still a very talented player. But yeah, 16.5 right now under is plus 102. That's just.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it just feels it feels wrong. Like, it feels like we should have a different line. I am going to probably play Kevin Durant 27.5 points, his over. I just think that
he was very uninvolved last game, which
very uninvolved, and he missed his number by the hook. I think he could put up 30 here if he wants to. There's like, this is nothing against Kawhi Leonard. Like, I don't see Kawhi Leonard as the guy stopping him. The way Kawhi Leonard stops him is by denying him the ball. So for me personally, I just think that I'd prefer to play points instead of kind of doing like what I did last time and doing some kind of prop parlay. But I just think he cooks. All right. So would you rather lay the 8 or take the points?
This is tough because at 7.5, like I really, it sounds weird. Like, I've never been more confident about being unconfident about a spread. Because like when I saw it, I was like, how do the Suns not cover that? Like, how do they not answer? Kevin Durant goes off, Devin Booker cleans up the other shots that, filter through. And then they have the PNR still working really well. I was like, how do they not do that? And then I think the longer I looked at it, the more I got less confident about it. But yeah, I lean the Suns here. I don't know how they don't respond, because it took Kawhi Leonard dropping like 40 points for that to happen. Like, he went off and they just didn't get stops down the stretch. And I just don't know if that's how the Suns will look today. I think they win by 10, but I don't want to take too much stock in the game one, but it was a little concerning to see how the Clippers stepped up there, because I didn't think the Suns would easily, but I did not see the Clippers like putting up numbers that they did. But yeah, I mean, it was a turnovers for the Suns that killed it. The Suns shot better than the Clippers, but they just didn't handle the ball well.
If the Suns don't go out to that awful start of the game, I think they'd win by 20 plus. It was weird though in the clutch seeing Kevin Durant sit in the corner and shoot. Like, I mean, not shoot, like not command the ball. I probably would lean the Suns here in a bounce back. Like, there was nothing that the Suns did incredibly wrong game plan wise. And I think that was the best effort we see out of the Clippers, like the best effort on the road, at least.
I mean, it comes down to the Clippers took 10 more shots. I mean, you get more field goal volume, you're going to get more points. That's just how it works out. Yeah, I would say this. I would probably take the Suns spread if it wasn't for Scott Foster reffing. That sounds weird, but you can't ignore 0-14 in these Scott Foster games.
I've seen a lot of people take the plus 280 on the Clippers because of Foster.
I get it. Well, it's funny if you watch the Operation Flagrant Foul. It's so funny to think about how they just like destroyed and put Tim Donahue in jail for all that, and then like his best friend Scott Foster, they were like, "Hey, you go over there. You're good. Don't worry about it." Like, so there is that gray area where maybe there's something there, but yeah, if it wasn't for Scott Foster, I would take the points, but. You're getting a Clippers team that made 10 threes. The Suns only attempted 19, I believe. I think if the Suns, if they just look a lot better, they got into some foul trouble too. They didn't have a lot of fouls, but they almost had some guys like Torrey Craig had 5 fouls, didn't play a lot late. Chris Paul had 4, Ayton had 4, Durant had 4. They got some key guys that had to play a little bit gingerly down the stretch, but I don't know if they should be smart enough not to get in that same situation.
Did you? I think we could see a big game out of Ayton if they run that same exact kind of game plan they did. But I do not trust Ayton at all.
I would have taken Ayton. I took Ayton last game. I took him at 15.5. I probably would have taken 15.5 again, but it's at 16.5, and that's a game changer there. The only thing I thought was interesting or good is that this is like not just because I don't even bet on Ayton that much anymore, like as I used to. He used to be like a cash cow with Kevin Durant just not there, which is fine. But as a team, it is nice to see that down the stretch, Ayton actually got 3 shots. I think he went 2 for 3 in the fourth quarter. It's nice to think that even though you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, if you have a roll man on that pick and roll, like Kevin Durant shouldn't feel the need to have to take a shot over 2 defenders. Like, if you have an open shot, that's how you win in this league. It's like the Sixers, I say the same thing. Sixers are only going to go as far as the other people. Joel Embiid's going to get mauled every single time he touches the ball in this playoffs. It's how can your other guys do? So it was nice to see the Suns, you see guys like Ayton take those shots where make them or miss them. You'd rather miss the right shot than miss the wrong shot. So I think that if you can find a 15.5, it's not bad, but there is that Kevin Durant takeover looming where he might just start taking 50 shots. Him and Booker always have that.
I think that if they go down and they go like significantly, by significant I mean like 7 or 8 in the third or fourth quarter.
It's all Book and KD.
That's literally heavy dosage of both of them. That's literally all it's going to be.
Yeah, and we've seen Kevin Durant. We've seen Devin Booker before. He could be shooting 1 for 11 or 11 for 11, and he will take 20 more shots. And whether it's good or bad is always depending on how he performs, but he's totally okay taking over. So like I said, I would take the Suns here if it wasn't for Scott Foster. If anything, I would look into maybe like a Kevin Durant 25 and a win, like those player performance markets. That's something I think they can get into because Scott Foster or not, maybe they don't cover. Maybe he's got some money on the spread, but the Suns should be good enough to win this game.
I would be thoroughly shocked to see the Suns lose back-to-back home games in the playoffs, especially with as much veteran leadership as they have in that team. It would be a colossal collapse. I think they lose the series if that happens.
Yeah.
That could be being dramatic, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, and we have a show tomorrow, right? So we don't have to cover the games. So I think we can wrap up there. So
that was a good spot. That was a good stopping point.
Do you want to just kind of go over like general thoughts of the game? So for me, there's 3 games tonight. I lean Clint Capella's under. I lean the Knicks on the spread, but I do think the Cavs win. And I guess I feel the same way for the Suns. The 8 might be a little too much, but I think the Suns win. And I do think Kevin Durant could be in a good position. Maybe Kevin Durant's rebounds. I actually don't even know what that is. I think
I was gonna, dude. So like,
7.
all right. So I think Boston blows out. I lean Cavs here, but I do like Knicks. I actually like Jalen Brunson again for his total points. I think he scores them in bunches. I think Suns win. If I were to play a Kevin Durant, like I will post it on Twitter and in Discord in GoldBoys.com. But I'm probably going to play Kevin Durant either 27.5 or parlay Kevin Durant 25 with his rebounds. The problem was I tried to do that last game. In the rebounds, it didn't give me a good price. It gave me like minus 150, which I was just like, I'm not going to play that.
At that point, at that juice, you're better off just playing like a PR line if you can get it. That's because you get the best of both worlds there. Yeah, so I think we're kind of aligned in how we see these games, and this should be fun to watch. I think it's nice that you get the overlap with the 2 early games because everyone wants to watch the Clippers. I mean the Clippers game, obviously, but people want to watch the Knicks Cavs over Celtics and Hawks, unless the Hawks do something crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's all we have today. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's Gold Boys lunch break. We are a little late today because we had to find a replacement for Will and his baby. But as
shout out
always,
to Pickett Sports too.
Yeah, I mean, and our sponsors, Boom Fantasy, Pickett Sports. Always appreciate them. We appreciate everyone in the chat. We had some people in the chat today, which is nice. We had some people shit talking the Cavs and bringing up some Scott Foster stuff. So I appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.